In our project, we will be explaining how the Chernobyl incident can be explained by using an exponential function along with other real-life examples. We will work as a team, give examples, graph, answer questions, research interesting facts about Chernobyl, and learn how exponential functions can be seen in our everyday life. We will record our findings in a small video detailing what we concluded in a fun and entertaining way.
For exponential decay, we can see in the chart in the left that it depends on the numbers you apply to the formula if the numbers will be bigger or smaller, and we can see it in the lines in colors. What is exponential decay? Is the rate of decay with the respective time. If it decreases at a proportional rate, its current value starts to decrease fast and later gets slower as it passes time. Some characteristics are the following. Their domain and range are all real numbers, and here are shown what our formula is about. For exponential growth, we can see in the chart how the lines get wider and thicker, depending on the value you put on the formula that is shown. Their characteristics are the following. Its domain is all real numbers, and it's a one-to-one function, and the range is greater than 0 and it's all positive numbers. What is exponential growth? It's an increase in proportion to the total growth in number or size. It's a constant growth over a period of time with a continuously growing base.
The 1986 accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine, then part of the former Soviet Union, is the only accident in the history of commercial nuclear power to cause fatalities from radiation. 28 highly exposed reactor staff and emergency workers died from radiation and thermal burns within 4 hours of the accident. Officials believe the accident also was responsible for nearly 7,000 cases of thyroid cancer among individuals who were under 18 years of age at the time of the accident. Most emergency workers and people living in contaminated areas received relatively low whole body radiation doses, according to the United Nations study published in 2011. The consequences are that Soviet scientists reported that the Chernobyl 4 reactor contained about 190 metric tons of uranium dioxide fuel and fission products. An estimated 13% of 30% on this escaped into the atmosphere. Contamination from the accident is scattered irregularly, depending on weather conditions. Reports from Soviet and Western scientists indicate that Belarus received about 60% of the contamination that fell on the former Soviet Union.
Examples of exponential growth and decay. A real-life example of exponential growth would be a colony of rabbits breeding. The number of rabbits you first start with would be your initial amount. Once they start breeding and measured in a yearly basis, you can determine the rate at which the right population grew and the final population. An example of decay would be the depreciation of a car. Whenever you buy a car, the car loses a fixed value each year after it's initially purchased. You can start with the initial amount you paid, and as time passes, the value of the car will be decreasing, and you can find the rate at which it has decreased over the years.
What is exponential growth? Exponential growth is a development in an increasingly fast rate that becomes more rapid in proportion to the growing total size or number. So for example, let's say you have a business and you attend to a workshop that will eventually grow your business in an increasingly fast rate. You will see an exponential growth on your business. There are two different functions we will be using at this project. First, it's a decay function. That is, n of t is equal to n0 e to the power of negative t. And the growth function. The growth function is y is equal to ab to the power of x. What are the implications of using nuclear energy? Do you consider nuclear energy to be clean energy? Nuclear energy is not clean energy because it's dependent on uranium, which is a natural resource that will eventually end and produce radioactive waste.
Are you aware that there is a nuclear energy plant in Mexico? Where is it? Do you think it's safe? Do you agree with the fact that there is a nuclear energy plant in your country? It is in La Centra Nuclear Laguna Verde. We agree with this because the facility makes up 4.5% of the energy used in Mexico. It is properly maintained, and past incidents have helped raise awareness about needing to have a flawless reactor with the right crew operating it. Could the Chernobyl 1986 nuclear disaster have been prevented? How? Once the explosion happened, was there any way to stop the radiation spread and its pollution? Do you think the radioactive pollution generated by this disaster reached Mexico? What are at least four environmental consequences in the global scale of the Chernobyl 1986 disaster? The disaster could have definitely had been prevented. The operators who worked in the nuclear power plant did not receive operated training, and the nuclear reactors was crudely done to save time and money. Once the reactor exploded, the radioactivity material poured out of it and polluted the air and water around the area, and along with the atmospheric conditions led it to spread mainly eastwards and north and south. It polluted a great area of Europe, but the reactant did not cross the ocean and reach Mexico. Acid rain fell in many of the countries in Europe, which led to death in the local area near Chernobyl. Large amounts of radiation went to the atmosphere, and many around the area suffered from radiation-related illness. The radiation mutated local wildlife and plants, and people started questioning if nuclear energy really was safe. What are the environmental consequences in a global scale of the nuclear disasters and use of nuclear weapons? Whenever the environment gets exposed to reactivity material, it undergoes many changes harmful to all living life. Radiation penetrates the living organism and destroys cells and changes their anatomy. This leads to mutation, deformation, and death to whatever or whoever comes in contact with it. What do you think and feel about the consequences? What would be the solution proposal for this situation? We feel that the disaster could have been prevented if it had the problem been fixed since the beginning instead of ignoring it. The consequences were harsh and many people lost their life, and the radiation will make Chernobyl uninhabitable for a long time. We propose that every country inspects their nuclear reactors to see that everything is working correctly, and make sure the operators are all very aware of the danger and are qualified to be working there. How did it feel working like this? Did we like it? Was it difficult? What did I like the most of working with my teammates in this form? I enjoyed working as a team. We helped each other out in everything we might have needed while learning about the Chernobyl incident and exponential functions. At first, I thought that because I didn't know my teammates and they were from another classroom, it would be pretty hard to work with them. But it turned out we organized each other pretty great, and it turned out really good. What I liked most about this project was that we got to meet new people and be able to learn and work together easily in a fun environment.
Reading, investigating, and working together in this project. It was a little difficult because we were in different classrooms and we didn't know each other, so we needed to find a way to communicate and work together to get real results. What I liked the most was that we got to meet new people and work with different classmates that we didn't know before.
This was a very fun and entertaining project. I had a really good time collaborating with my teammates, learning new things about the Chernobyl incident and the exponential growth functions. What I like the most about this project is that we got to meet new people and that we got to listen to each other's point of view of the Chernobyl incident.
I had a lot of fun working on this project. I found it really interesting what happened in Chernobyl and how exponential functions can be applied in many examples. I like that I was able to learn to work as a team along with my team members and meet new people that I did not know before.